This episode of CU Live is brought to you with support from Stoff's Coffee Roasters. Since 1988, Stoff's has been offering specialty coffee hand-roasted right here in Central Ohio. Stoff's is also a proponent of meaningful community conversations, whether online or in person. Visit their website at stoffs.com for the latest information on their locations, or to order online and enjoy a cup of Stoff's while you watch this episode. Hi, welcome to CU Live. My name is Walker Evans. I'm the co-founder of Columbus Underground. Joining me today is Kat Sheridan, who is the director of the Ohio Arts Council's Riffe Gallery, as well as the founder of Columbus Collects. Thanks for joining us, Kat.
Thanks.
To start things off, tell us about Columbus Collects for anyone that doesn't know.
All right, so Columbus Collects is an Instagram account where folks each week share their personal collection. Mm-hmm. So who the artist is, what the piece is, what the media is, and how they came to own that piece, to have it in their collection. Did they barter and trade with someone? Did they inherit it? Did they get it from a thrift store? Did they buy it from a gallery? It's just a really great way to help folks recognize the power of their own collecting.
Nice. Yeah, a lot of times when you hear the term art collector, you think of like a wealthy old millionaire with, these giant pieces, kind of like a museum type display in their home. But it's not always like that, right? I mean, anyone can be an art collector.
Thank goodness. Yeah. It's not always like that. Thank goodness. Everyone really thinks about the most shiny thing, right? And that would be your super wealthy collector that pays millions of dollars for a thing.
Right.
Super happy for them. That's fantastic. Mm-hmm. That is not what I'm after.
Right.
What I am after is helping the common person to recognize that they are a collector, that they have the power to influence the creative economy and build it, support it, be a part of it.
How best do you think people can discover some things like this? I mean, obviously, the Instagram account. There are other, artists that have Instagram accounts. You can kind of follow them and find things. Mm-hmm. Are there other ways? Do you recommend people go to certain kinds of like arts events or galleries or exhibitions? Like, what's kind of a good entry point for someone that's thinking about this?
I would say keep your eyes open. Mm-hmm. Artists are everywhere. Mm-hmm. Do your very best to find and purchase artwork from artists. Mm-hmm. It goes such a long way. Once it gets into the hands of a second person and then they're reselling it, you're not actually affecting the artist. Right. You're just affecting the bottom line of that collector, which a lot of people, that's basically like trading stocks. That's fine. Yeah. People do that. But if you really want to have an impact on your community, search out those markets where artists are going to show up and might see, glimmers of their artistry and ask them more. Artists will talk about their work. Absolutely. They might be a little shy about it, but you just pull it out of them. And, it's important, one, for you to learn the kind of source that goes into their work, whether it's conceptual or meditative or therapeutic in any way. It's community building at the very base of it.
It's almost like asking, where your food was sourced at a local restaurant. It's about discovering the process and finding out a little bit more behind the scenes what's going on.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you think about, as you build your home, whether you are in an apartment or you own your own home, you build your collection of things that you live with that make your house a home, whether it's furniture that was passed down or furniture that you source from, what have you, the Amish or IKEA or whatever.
Yeah.
But there is a richness that comes into your home by you selecting things that speak to your aesthetic. So whether it's colors, textures, or concepts that are contained within your work, or particular artists that you love to support. If there's like a group of artists that you just dig so hard and that's all you collect, good on you. Like if velvet paintings are your thing, go all the way in. Like that's really interesting, right?
Yeah.
I think that folks, because they think of that super shiny thing, they think it's not for them. They think it's elitist.
Right.
And that's so not the case.
Yeah.
You're going to make a really rich, warm home by sharing your taste, by putting that on your shelves, on your walls. If you love ceramics, maybe you collect ceramic mugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. My partner and I have a huge collection of local artists,
Yeah.
and like mugs are certainly a piece of that. We've slowed down because there's less space on the walls, but
you're right. You're getting full. Sort of chicken and egg question. Do you seek out a piece of art for a specific place within your home from like a interior design perspective, or you're out at an event, you're out at an exhibition, you see a piece and you're like, I'm going to buy that, and then figure out where I want to put it or where I want to display this?
I'm usually the latter.
Yeah. Buy first, figure it out later.
Like fall in love with a piece, just see it and have that connection, that emotional, like it speaks to you on a deep level. That's how most of the work, that or loving an artist's work, following them and waiting until there's a piece that inspires you and also fits your budget.
Right.
But plenty of people do the like, okay, I have a space this big. If you have an artist that you really enjoy, perhaps you ask to see their inventory and purchase something that they've made and help them out, or maybe commission them. I love for people to buy what artists already have in inventory, though. I mean, they're working their tails off. So,
oh, sure, yeah. Help them out, especially right now. We'll link to your Instagram account, for people that want to check that out. Any other resources you recommend people, scope out in terms of where they want to get started, or even to find what's out there in Columbus?
Absolutely. There are plenty of, when the pandemic allows us to gather, right? The flea markets that we have, the spring flea, I feel like a lot of artists go and do that. We have great galleries all around town that put things together and have pop-ups, get involved with the local. The really nice thing about kind of the shift of the Short North is that it has spread Columbus out. So Columbus's art scene used to be just High Street on Short North. It's so much deeper now. Like you've got Franklinton, you've got the South Side, East Side's coming up. Really interesting things happening all around. And my recommendation is, one, take a look at Columbus Underground. They're going to tell you about it.
We'll have a link to that.
Yeah. But really and truly, as you're looking at artists, and certainly on Columbus Collects, most people will tag the artist if they have an Instagram, so you can follow them and see where they're going to show up if they're selling online. I think, gosh, I could go on for like hours about places that you could go.
Right.
Wildcat does a great job of sourcing local artists. Gosh, there's so many businesses. I mean, I think about the Streetlight Guild and Scott Woods over there doing a great job with artists. And when he can open back up, of course, he's going to have his pop-ups and exhibitions as well as live events for people. And I think that that's also something that folks should think about, is that it is not only a piece of visual art, right? It's the experience, and then you grow that, and perhaps it's a memento from like a playbill, the way that people collect that. That's totally relevant.
Right.
Everyone deserves the luxury of art in their house.
I agree. Cool. Well, thanks. Those are some great resources, some great ideas to get people started, and we'll link to some of that stuff. Thanks, Kat, again for stopping by.
You bet.